to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to him. And the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling and saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to the father, "Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me." So he divided his property among them. A few days later, the youngest son gathered all that he had and traveled to a distant country. And there he squandered his property in desolate living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took the place throughout that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. He would gladly have filled himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, and no one would give him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hands have bread enough to spare? But here I am, dying of hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against you and against heaven, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his slaves, 'Quickly, bring out a robe, the best one, and put it on him. Put a ring on his fingers and sandals on his feet, and get the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to celebrate. Now his elder son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of the slaves and asked what was going on. And he replied, 'Your brother has come home, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has got him back safe and sound.' Then he became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him. But he answered to his father, 'Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you never even give me a young goat so that I may celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came back, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him.' Then the father said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and has been found.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Please be seated. Grace and peace given to all God's children near and far. Grace and peace be given to all God's children who are found or lost. Okay, so 2 old men meet in the park. And upon seeing each other, they don't say a word. They sit on a park bench in silence for the longest time. They must not have been Lutheran. Then finally, one breaks the silence by saying, "Oi." The other one responds, "Oi." To which the first replies, "Well, enough about the children." Well, we may not know what their oi was about, but we know this. Family relationships are perhaps the most challenging of all. This parable of the prodigal son is rich with so many lessons. But this morning, for the sake of time, I will only share one lesson today. We have a lesson that perhaps we have not heard from the prodigal son, the lesson of community. When the youngest son chose to leave the family after receiving his share of the father's inheritance, he figured it was just all about him now. No father to answer to, no big brother to be bothered by, no slaves to direct, just him and the open road. He was wrong. Look around this sanctuary this morning. Who's missing? Who are you missing? Why are you missing them? Are they missing because they're in Sunday school? Perhaps they're teaching or they're your child. Are they missing because they're on their snowbird trip? Are they missing because they've chosen to go a different way? Are they missing just because they forgot to turn their clocks forward and we'll see them at fellowship? But who are you missing this morning? Why are you missing that person or those people today? Do they offer you something you can't get from someone else who is here? Are you missing them because of a service that they perform here on a Sunday morning? Did you notice that they were missing before I asked you if someone was missing? Who's missing today? Eva, unfortunately, misses almost every Sunday, and we miss her dearly, and her absence is well felt. But who else is missing this morning? Who do we miss? The Rundells aren't here, they're snowbirding. The Littons aren't here, Fred and Fern, they're snowbirding. The Kramers aren't here, I don't know why. I talked to them last night. Oh, maybe that's why. He's cooking for us, so that's okay, he can be missing. He's making chicken enchiladas, so that's all right. Who else is missing here this morning? The Ferrises aren't here. We miss Kim and Donna. The Bergs aren't here. Eric's teaching and Kathy's at home. We miss them. Who else is missing that isn't here? Linda's missing this morning. Mark's here by himself, bacheloring it. We may need to invite him to a meal. Jake is teaching Sunday school this morning, so Andrea and the little one sits here by themselves. Hopefully we won't be seeing her in the next week, perhaps, maybe. Maybe. We got to make note of that in prayers this morning. Please let her have this child. We all want to know what it is. Well, that's what's happening in our parable this morning. Someone is missing. The community isn't the same with the youngest son missing. The father is missing his son because, well, he's his son. The brother is missing him because perhaps he's the one who has to pick up the slack from the little brother's absence. Maybe the slaves are missing the youngest son because they have a better relationship with him than they do the older brother. The community is feeling the effects of the younger brother's leaving because they may no longer be getting a service that he provided, or maybe they were receiving a good that he would make. When we journey out alone and on our own, we have no idea the impact that leaves for those left behind. It isn't all about us, even when we think, what's the big deal? It's just me, I'm just one person. But it is a big deal. God is our shepherd, and he goes out after the one and leaves the many. We are not just one person, but one of many. One of God's children. One of the many members of Mount of Olives. One of many in your family. One of many in your social community. You are not just one. When we strike out on our own, with no regard to those left behind, we create a variety of emotions and responses. Anything from sadness to anger to feeling betrayed. But these are only human responses. Let me ask you this. What was God thinking when he allowed us to have free will so that we could go off willy-nilly doing what we want to do? Doesn't God care about us? The truth is, God cares and loves for us very much, and that's exactly why he has given us free will. To come and go, and if we want, we can be the best part, to come and go, and if, when we please, we can come back. Just like the prodigal son. We are welcomed back into the family and into the arms of the Father. You know what? Sometimes that makes us jealous, just like the big brother. Why are you guys getting so excited just because he or she came back? You don't get that excited when I'm here every Sunday morning. Well, heck, you don't even come greet me the moment I walk through the doors. And here I am every Sunday morning. Why does somebody like Mary Ann, who's been lost and we have now found, why does she get all the hugs and kisses and, oh, we're so glad you're here, and all I get is good morning? We're no better than the big brother. That's really a good question. Why does the lost get so much attention? And that was a question the oldest brother wanted to know too. Why, dang it, did he get the fatty calf and I can't even get a goat? Well, let me tell you. What makes the lost so special, first off, is because they are missed. God misses his children when they have left his arms. God waits eagerly for their return and welcomes them home with his always present love and grace and mercy. How do we welcome the lost home? Are we like the father and go running out to reach the child faster? Or do we stand around and begrudge the homecoming like the older brother? Or are we the prodigal son, amazed that we are still loved and welcomed and wanted? And we're amazed that we've been missed. It still surprises me when I go out to a restaurant or into a store and I see someone who hasn't been in worship maybe for one Sunday or 500 Sundays, and I tell them, you were missed. We miss you. And they'll do two things. One, they'll apologize. I'm so sorry, we've missed. Life has just been. And they'll go on and tell me why they haven't been there. And secondly, they get this look on their face like, wow, you noticed I haven't been there? And you remember my name? I was only there twice. How come you know me? They're amazed. They're amazed that they've been missed. I'm only one person. I'm not your shepherd. God is your shepherd. I'm just the sheepdog who keeps us all hopefully going in the same direction, doing the same thing. That's what I'm here for. But just like the shepherd, you guys mean as much to me as you do to the shepherd. And when you're missed, you're really, truly missed. And when I say that I'm glad to see you, I am truly glad to see you. There is something about each and every one of you that lifts my soul, whether it's on a Sunday morning, a Friday at the soup kitchen, or a Wednesday at supper. You are all missed. What we need to remember is we are family, joined together through water, word, blood, and body. And when one part of us is missing, it's a part of God's family that is missing. This is home, guys. This is family, and this is where you will find love, care, tears, hugs, joys, sorrow, food. This is home. We are all joined together by God's loving grace and tender mercies. Those gifts can never be taken back. Those gifts can never be the wrong size or color, and you can never have too much of either, grace or mercy. And they don't go out of style. The prodigal son didn't just leave his family. He left a whole community behind. His return was not rejoiced just by the father and the slaves, but by the whole community. We are a community, and during this Lenten season, we pray for our brothers and sisters who are lost from this community. We pray for them because we miss them. We pray for them because they are our brothers and sisters. We pray for them that one day they will return, and like the Father to the Son, we will run to them, awaiting to greet them with open arms, with a fatted calf, and with the love that we have always had for them. No matter who we are, the Father, the Son, the brother, we are all in this together. We are all community, and we are all God's children. Thanks be to God.